You feel it every time you look at each other. That silence, heavy and sharp, hanging between the two of you like an unspoken verdict. The arguments, the betrayals, the moments when trust crumbled beneath your feet. Those cracks in your relationship are not just lines on your heart. They are wounds etched deep into your very being. And right now, as you sit there staring across from the person who used to feel like home, you're wondering, is it even possible to come back from this? Can you ever rebuild something so broken? Let me tell you something the world rarely admits. Broken things, when repaired, often become stronger than they were before. You've seen the image, haven't you? A ceramic bowl, shattered, glued back together with gold. Kintsugi, the Japanese art of repair, doesn't hide the cracks. It celebrates them. The cracks become part of the beauty, part of the story. And your relationship, wounded as it may be, can be repaired in the same way. But it won't be easy, and it won't be quick. You'll have to look at your pain honestly, face the moments you wish you could erase, and learn to see each other not just as lovers, but as flawed, resilient human beings who can choose to rebuild, brick by brick. Right now, you might be thinking that betrayal or trauma has left an unbridgeable gap between you. Perhaps it was a momentary lapse in judgment. Or maybe it was a series of repeated hurts, small cuts that together left your heart raw and bleeding. You might feel anger, resentment, even disgust, not just toward them, but at yourself for staying, for hoping, for believing. And yet somewhere inside, a part of you refuses to give up. That tiny voice whispers, there's still a chance, we can still fix this. But how? The first thing you must understand is this. Repairing a relationship after it breaks isn't about erasing the past. You cannot simply sweep betrayal under a rug and expect love to bloom again. You have to confront it, stare at it, and name it. Because avoidance is a silent poison. It festers in quiet corners, building resentment and fear until even the smallest touch triggers pain. And so you begin with acknowledgement. You acknowledge what happened, you acknowledge how it made you feel, and you acknowledge the pain you both carry. This is not a comfortable process. It's raw, sometimes unbearable. You might sit in a room together and find yourselves unable to speak for long stretches, the weight of history pressing down. But those silences are not emptiness, they are the spaces where truth begins to take root. You begin to recognize patterns, to see the ways in which each of you contributed to the breakdown, the small daily habits that accumulated into misunderstanding, neglect, or betrayal. And in recognizing these patterns, you start to understand that blame alone cannot heal you. Accountability is what begins the mending, and then comes the hardest part, listening. Not just hearing words, but truly listening to the tremor in their voice when they confess a regret, listening to the pauses that hint at unspoken fears, listening to the pain they have been carrying silently. And you must do the same. Speak your truth, without anger, without the desire to punish, but with the intent to illuminate the wounds that lie beneath. This is where the cracks begin to shine, not with gold yet, but with the first glimmers of light that make the repair possible. You may be wondering if it's worth it, if the bridge between you has been burnt beyond crossing, and the truth is, not every relationship survives the storm. Some fractures are too deep, some betrayals too severe, but for those who are willing to face the pain, to commit to rebuilding rather than retreating, there is a path forward. And that path begins with vulnerability. Yes, vulnerability. The very thing that felt dangerous when you were hurt is now the doorway to something stronger, because only when you lower your defenses, only when you allow yourself to be seen in your entirety, including the parts you are ashamed of, can genuine connection re-emerge. You might try to rush it, eager to patch things and return to the comfort of what once was. Resist that urge. Healing doesn't work on a timetable. There will be setbacks, moments when the old pain surfaces, and you feel as though you're back at square one. That's normal. That's human. What matters is that you continue to show up, not just for each other, but for the shared vision of a relationship that is no longer fragile but resilient. Every difficult conversation, Every tearful confession, every silent shared moment of reflection, is a stroke of gold in the restoration of your bond. And here's something most people never tell you. Rebuilding after a break doesn't just change the relationship, it changes you. You will discover reservoirs of patience, empathy, and courage you didn't know existed. You will learn to hold space for another human being in their entirety, the light and the shadow, while still honoring your own boundaries and needs. You will learn that love isn't just a feeling, it's an active, deliberate choice made over and over again, even when it hurts, even when it scares you, even when the world around you doubts it. So as you sit there, heart pounding with fear and hope tangled together, know this: the cracks in your relationship are not the end, they are the beginning. They are the starting point for something more authentic, more beautiful, and more enduring than what you had before. And while the journey will demand courage, honesty, and unwavering commitment, the reward is not just a repaired relationship, it's a partnership forged in resilience, trust, and a depth of understanding that only comes from surviving the storm together. You may not see it yet, but beneath the layers of hurt, beneath the weight of regret and fear, there is a golden thread connecting the two of you. That thread is your chance at redemption, at reconnection, at love reborn. Not perfect, but stronger, richer, and more profound than you ever imagined possible. And if you are willing to walk this path, to meet each challenge with patience and presence, to hold the cracks in your hands and turn them into art, then what lies ahead is not just healing, but transformation. This is where your journey begins. Not with denial, not with hope alone, but with the courage to face the fracture, to honor the pain, and to commit to building a love that is unshakable, not despite the cracks but because of them. Now that you've acknowledged the cracks and recognized the pain, the real work begins. This isn't about grand gestures or sweeping apologies, it's about consistency, honesty, and creating a foundation where trust can slowly regrow. You may feel exhausted at the thought. You may wonder if the effort is worth the emotional toll. But every small step, every deliberate act, is a seed of restoration, and seeds, when nurtured with care, have the power to grow into something unbreakable. The first step is rebuilding trust, and this is where most couples falter. Trust isn't restored with words alone. Saying "I'm sorry" or "I'll change" means nothing if it isn't backed by action. You must both decide to live in transparency, to create a space where no secret, no hesitation, and no avoidance can linger. That might look like answering questions honestly, even the uncomfortable ones. It might look like admitting mistakes as soon as they happen, without defensiveness or deflection. It will mean showing up in ways that are tangible, being present when it matters, keeping promises, and proving through repeated action that your commitment is not just a wish, but a choice you make every day. You'll encounter resistance. Some days you'll want to retreat into old habits of silence or blame because it feels safer. But that is exactly when your courage is tested. When fear whispers that reconciliation is impossible, that the past will always define you, that the cracks are permanent, you must push forward anyway, because the path to healing is not linear. There will be setbacks, you will feel the sting of old wounds resurfacing, and arguments may flare like sudden storms. And yet in those storms lies opportunity to learn, to listen, to strengthen the bridge between you rather than let it collapse under pressure. Another crucial part of this rebuilding is forgiveness. But be very clear, forgiveness is not forgetting. Forgiveness is a deliberate act of release, a choice to no longer allow the past to dictate your present or your future. It's not a favor you do for your partner, it's a gift you give yourself, because holding on to resentment keeps your heart chained to the moment of betrayal, preventing growth and suffocating intimacy. And forgiveness is not a one-time declaration, it is a daily practice, a series of conscious decisions to let go of pain while still honoring the lessons it taught you. Equally important is learning to communicate in a way that doesn't just convey information, but conveys understanding. Stop speaking to be heard, start speaking to be understood, and stop listening to respond, start listening to absorb. In your conversations, resist the urge to interrupt, to defend, or to justify. Instead, mirror their feelings back to them. Say, I hear that this hurt you, and I see why you feel this way. Simple, yet this kind of communication dismantles the walls you've built over years of fear and miscommunication. It allows vulnerability to flow naturally, and in turn, nurtures intimacy that feels safe, rather than threatened. And here's something you must embrace. Rebuilding together is as much about individual growth as it is about shared growth. You cannot fix each other. You can only support each other in becoming whole. That means facing your own patterns of behavior that contributed to the fracture. It means seeking help when needed. Therapists, counselors, mentors, or trusted friends who can provide perspective and guidance. It means practicing patience with yourself, with your partner, and with the messy, unpredictable process of healing. You'll also discover that boundaries are essential. Rebuilding is not about blurring lines or erasing individuality. It's about creating safety. It's about knowing when to speak, when to pause, and when to protect your emotional well-being. Boundaries are not walls, they are the framework in which trust and intimacy can flourish. Without them, old patterns creep back in, and the cracks widen instead of shining with gold. At some point, you'll begin to notice subtle shifts. Maybe it's a glance that lingers a little longer without fear. Maybe it's a small gesture of care that reminds you that the person across from you is choosing you again and again. These moments, though seemingly insignificant, are the building blocks of a new relationship. The magic isn't in grand declarations. It's in the ordinary acts of love that, when stacked over time, create a bond that is stronger than the pain that came before. And don't forget joy. Joy may feel impossible right now, buried beneath the weight of past trauma, but reclaiming it is essential. Laughter, shared adventures, quiet moments of connection, these are not luxuries, they are necessities. They remind you why you began this journey in the first place. They remind you that love is not just about surviving the storm, but about dancing in the rain together. Rebuilding also demands that you confront fear. The fear that the cracks will reopen, that betrayal might return, that love might fail. You cannot eliminate fear entirely. Trying to do so would only paralyze you, but you can acknowledge it, hold it, and choose to move forward anyway. Each time you face fear together, each time you resist the urge to retreat, you strengthen the glue that binds you. You begin to internalize a profound truth. Love is not defined by the absence of brokenness, but by the courage to repair it. And through all of this, you start to see a different kind of beauty in your relationship. Not the naive, perfect beauty of beginnings, but the resilient beauty of survival. The kind of beauty that cannot be erased by pain, that is etched into your story like gold in a crack. Your love becomes a living testament to perseverance, to choice, and to the human capacity for growth and transformation. So as you sit together now, even if the weight of the past presses heavily against you, recognize that every honest conversation, every act of accountability, every small moment of kindness, is a stroke of gold on the surface of your brokenness. The path is not quick, and it is not easy, but for those who are willing to face the fear, confront the pain, and show up day after day with courage and compassion, the reward is not just a relationship restored, it is a love reborn, deeper, wiser, and stronger than it has ever been before. By now you've faced the cracks, named the pain, rebuilt trust, and learned to communicate with honesty and compassion. And yet you may be feeling a quiet anxiety. Will love ever feel like it did before? Will passion return? Or has it been lost forever in the shadow of betrayal and hurt? Here's the truth. Love can return, but it will be different. It will not be naive or effortless. It will be rich, intentional, and alive in ways you never imagined. The intimacy you rebuild now will be stronger than what existed before, because it is rooted not just in desire, but in understanding, resilience, and conscious choice. Intimacy begins with presence, not just physical proximity, but the kind of presence where you are fully engaged, fully attentive, fully available. It's easy to go through the motions, to touch without feeling, to speak without listening. But true intimacy demands that you slow down. When you are together, make the effort to notice the details, the curve of their smile, the hesitation in their laughter, the unspoken words lingering in their eyes. These are the threads that weave connection. When you honor them, when you acknowledge them, you begin to knit a closeness that cannot be faked or rushed. Touch is powerful, but it must be intentional. After trauma or betrayal, even a hand held in passing can trigger fear or discomfort. Move slowly. Let gestures of affection be gentle. Let your touch communicate safety and care, rather than expectation or demand. Small gestures, a hand on the shoulder, a brush of fingers, a hug that lingers a moment longer than usual, become bridges over old wounds. And as trust deepens, these small gestures evolve into moments of passion, tenderness, and vulnerability that are profoundly transformative. You also need to rebuild emotional intimacy by sharing the inner landscapes of your thoughts and feelings. Speak openly about your fears, your hopes, your dreams, and even your doubts. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Create the moment by being courageous enough to speak truthfully. And when they share, listen not to respond but to absorb, to feel alongside them, to meet them in their vulnerability, without judgment or interruption. Emotional intimacy is like water. It nourishes, it heals, and it connects you in ways words alone cannot. And here is something you must understand deeply. Healing together requires curiosity. Curiosity about each other's world, about the ways in which you each process love, hurt, and desire. Ask questions, not to criticize, not to challenge, but to understand. Explore the small nuances, the gestures, the routines, the patterns that define them as a person. This curiosity rekindles attraction, not the superficial kind, but the magnetic pull that comes from feeling truly seen and truly known. Rebuilding passion isn't about recreating old sparks. It's about creating new ones. The fire you ignite now will be different, tempered by patience, fueled by trust, and sustained by emotional intimacy. Experiment together, communicate your desires without shame, and celebrate the vulnerability it takes to ask for what you need and to give what you can. Passion in a healed relationship is not explosive and fleeting. It is steady, present, and deeply fulfilling because it carries the weight of shared experience, commitment, and resilience. You must also learn the art of forgiveness in real time. Old wounds may resurface unexpectedly, triggering reactions that surprise even you. In those moments, pause. Don't let anger dictate your response. Recognize that the past is not your partner's present. Choose to respond with compassion and patience. These moments, though uncomfortable, are opportunities to strengthen the bonds you've worked so hard to rebuild. Each time you choose understanding over resentment, each time you choose connection over defensiveness, you weave another strand of gold into the fabric of your relationship. Shared rituals are another powerful tool. Find practices that anchor you as a couple, whether it's a nightly check-in, a weekly walk, or a simple act of gratitude shared at the end of the day. These rituals create a sense of security and rhythm, reminding you both that love is not just a feeling, but an ongoing practice. They create spaces where joy, laughter, and tenderness can flourish, even amid life's chaos. And don't underestimate the importance of space. Healing does not mean constant togetherness. Respecting each other's need for solitude, reflection, and personal growth is crucial. True intimacy thrives, not in codependence, but in two whole people choosing to be together, not out of necessity, but out of desire and respect. When you honor each other's individuality, you allow the relationship to breathe, to expand, and to become resilient against the pressures of life. As you continue this journey, you will notice subtle transformation. The way you argue changes, not because conflict disappears, but because you've learned to argue with respect and curiosity, rather than fear and defensiveness. The way you celebrate each other changes, becoming more intentional, more joyful, more attuned to the small victories and moments of connection. Even ordinary days start to shimmer with meaning, because you are fully present, fully engaged, fully committed to nurturing the bond that has survived so much. And here is the ultimate truth. A love rebuilt after breaking is not fragile, it is alive. It carries the beauty of imperfection, the strength of survival, and the depth of understanding that only comes from walking through fire together. Your cracks, your scars, your mistakes, they are not weaknesses. They are proof that you endured, that you fought, and that you chose each other again and again, despite fear, despite doubt, despite pain. So as you move forward, know this: rebuilding intimacy, passion, and connection is not about returning to what once was. It's about creating what can be, together. It's about turning every fracture into a line of gold, every wound into a story of resilience, every moment of doubt into an opportunity for growth. The journey will demand patience, courage, and relentless compassion. But the reward is a love that is more profound, more beautiful, and more enduring than anything you experienced before. And as you hold each other now, in the quiet, in the stillness, feel the threads of connection weaving tighter with each heartbeat. This is the beginning of a love reborn, not perfect, but infinitely resilient. Not simple, but breathtakingly real. And it is yours because you chose to face the cracks, to honor the pain, and to transform the broken into something golden. By now you've felt the cracks, faced the pain, rebuilt trust, nurtured intimacy, and reignited passion. You may notice a quiet strength settling between you, a sense that the foundation you're creating is no longer fragile, but alive, breathing, and resilient. And yet the journey doesn't end here. Healing is not a finish line, it's a practice, a continuous commitment to showing up, to choosing each other, to weaving the gold into your shared story every single day. Long-term love, the kind that endures life's storms, is not built on grand gestures alone. It is built in the small repeated acts of care. It's in the way you ask about their day and actually listen. It's in the way you remember the little things that make them feel seen. It's in choosing to apologize without being prompted, to forgive without resentment, to comfort without expectation. These ordinary acts, when sustained over time, become extraordinary. They are the glue that binds hearts together, far stronger than passion or excitement ever could. And you must remember that vulnerability is not a one-time act. It's a lifestyle. Continue to share your fears, your doubts, your dreams. Let your partner see the cracks in your armor without judgment. Let them witness your humanity and witness theirs in return. Every time you choose honesty over hiding, connection over avoidance, you deepen the roots of your love. You create a soil so fertile that even when challenges arise, your relationship has the strength to bend without breaking. Challenges will come. They always do. Life will test you with stress, fatigue, unexpected events, and moments of old insecurities resurfacing. But the difference now is that you have tools, habits, and a bond forged in resilience. When conflict arises, you no longer react purely from fear or anger. You respond with intention, with empathy, with a focus on repair rather than victory. Every disagreement becomes an opportunity to understand, to compromise, to grow together rather than drift apart. And do not underestimate the importance of celebrating the everyday victories. Healing a relationship is not just surviving the storms, it's honoring the moments of peace, the laughter, the joy, the quiet comfort of being understood. These moments, though subtle, are powerful markers of transformation. They remind you that love is not about perfection, it is about presence. It is about choosing every day to nurture a bond that has been tested, and choosing to make it stronger each time. You will notice a profound shift in how you see each other. The anger that once seemed insurmountable softens. The mistrust that once loomed large begins to dissolve, and in its place grows admiration, empathy, and a deep, unwavering respect. You learn to love not just the ideal version of your partner, but the whole, imperfect human being in front of you. And in loving them fully, you discover a capacity for love within yourself, that you never knew existed. The beauty of a relationship, rebuilt, is that it is no longer fragile or dependent on circumstance. It thrives because of conscious choice, not because it is convenient. You both become architects of a bond that is sustainable, deeply fulfilling, and flexible enough to withstand the inevitable challenges life will throw your way. And the golden cracks, the scars, the wounds, the moments of doubt, become the most beautiful part of your story. They are proof that your love is not naive, not fleeting, not fragile. They are proof that it is alive, intentional, and resilient. And so, as you look at each other now, you realize that what you have is not just a repaired relationship. It is a partnership that has been tempered by fire, polished by patience, and transformed by understanding. It is a love that has been broken, healed, and strengthened. Beautiful not despite the cracks, but because of them. You feel it in the way your hands fit together, in the way your voices echo in harmony after years of discord, in the way your hearts recognize each other across silence and distance. This is the kind of love that endures. It is rare, but it is possible, and it is yours if you continue to nurture it, protect it, and honor it. The golden cracks are not a reminder of weakness. They are a testament to resilience, courage, and the human capacity to heal. They are proof that love, when faced with adversity, can rise from the ashes stronger, wiser, and more radiant than ever before. And in this moment, as the weight of the past lifts and the promise of the future stretches before you, you realize something profound. The journey of rebuilding is not a punishment or a burden. It is a gift, a chance to rewrite your story, to transform pain into strength, and to create a love that will not only survive, but thrive. The cracks are not the end of your story. They are the golden threads that weave together a love that is unbreakable, enduring, and breathtakingly real. So hold on to each other, fiercely and tenderly. Speak with honesty, listen with your whole heart, forgive relentlessly, and celebrate the ordinary moments that remind you why you chose this journey together. Love has given you a second chance, and it will continue to reward your courage, your patience, and your unwavering commitment. You are not merely survivors, you are artisans of a love that shines brighter because it has been broken and made whole again. And as you continue forward, every heartbeat, every touch, every shared laugh becomes a line of gold in the story of your love. Beautiful, unyielding, and infinitely precious.